Y ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and he hasn't said anything. Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the best. Sacrifice for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! Porque la Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Share this video, please, so we can start the live feed. Share this video. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News and America's Boys News. We're live at YouTube and we're live at Facebook at the same time. Hello to all our followers at YouTube and all our followers in Facebook. God bless our country of Mexico. My city of Tijuana, and God bless the United States of America. Let's thank God for giving us 2 legs, 2 arms, a mind that we can think, a heart that we can feel, and eyes that we can see. How's everybody doing? Wow, man. This is, I don't know where. I'm not gonna play it like it's a joke, because it's a statement from a Congress woman from the United States of America. So it's this, in this statement, it says a lot about the anger that she has towards the country that pays her bills, where she lives at, in the country that she represents. Holy cow. It is a complete irresponsibility how these people just speak. They don't care what is going on in Mexico. They don't care what is going on in our country. The situation with the cartels, the violence and the delinquents, she's categorizing it in different terms. This is so irresponsible of these people, how it is so easy for them to speak and to influence a lot of young people, and also ultimately, middle-aged people and so on. But it's just so amazing, the irresponsibility of their words, man. We just saw on the news a 6-month infant baby thrown at a water raft to cross the Rio Grande River, and they blame it on something else. And they're using these words for people to watch out, because that is basically what happens in communist countries. People never travel to a communist country. They have never seen communism itself. They're only imagining their communist countries in their wildest dreams. This is what they think. They think that communism is it's a beautiful thing. It's just beautiful. Look what this is an image shared by Real America's Voice News, a platform that we have several times worked for. And this is right now the opinion on this woman. And it is just, let me just put the screen so I can just read what she said about the border crisis. Now, let us analyze what she said so we can actually understand her brain. Because I want to understand her brain. Really, I have family members, cousins of mine that they're really supportive of AOC. I'll tell you that. I have like liberal friends and liberal family members that they support AOC, and I'm like, I just had a talk with one of them, and can you explain to me this? And he just put his hand on his head, and they're like, oh, sometimes they make mistakes, Blue. I'm like, okay, so this is your influencer. This is the one that navigates your boat. This is the captain. So I want to understand the words that she's using, and let's analyze, because these people probably never have. They throw big words out there, big words. These words that she just threw are huge words. These are huge words, because she's advocating for globalist agendas. So these are huge words to just denigrate what is going on at the border and what has been happening right now at the border. So she's probably, just pampering to Biden. It's not Biden's fault. It has been practically, and this statement is saying it is the fault of the United States of America. Wow. This is a congresswoman that's supposed to be defending the United States of America, that represents, I don't know, people. I don't care if she's a Democrat or a liberal or a Republican. I don't care. There's Republicans that they're bad. You have seen how it all planned out in this past elections. There are Republicans that they're really bad. There's Democrats that they're horrible. Right here, you're seeing one of them. And again, for the 70 millionth time, I'm not for a political party. So let us analyze her words right here. Let us analyze her words. Says, AOC finally speaks on border crisis and gives Biden a pass, blames imperialism and climate. Says, it's not a border crisis. Look what it says. Let's analyze how one leads to another, one leads to another. So she wants to go directly to the main problem, that is communism. She has a communistic mind. This is a communist right here. This is a communist that blames first-class world countries, that they're not fair to third-class world countries. And it is, I live in a third world-class country that is considered a second world-class country, but I don't consider it like that. My country of Mexico is beautiful, but it has been like this as a third world-class country because of our corrupt system and our corrupt politicians. Mexico can be a first-class world country like, an example, Venezuela was. But look how she thinks. She says this. It's not a border crisis. It's an imperialism crisis. Wow. Nobody knows what is going on with China right now, how they're trying to rule the world. So which country are you talking about, AOC? It is a climate crisis. If you're talking about the current situation, imperialism crisis, you're not talking about how China's affecting the world economically right now. And if it is a climate crisis, you must be talking about China, because China is the number one that contaminates more with carbon dioxide. The second that contaminates more is the United States of America. So you must be talking about China. That is the one that contaminates more in carbon dioxide. It is a trade crisis, she's saying. Okay, a trade crisis. It is taking advantage with their cheap man product around the world, inflating the economy of every country. You can talk, you can tell, you can ask whatever politician what they think about China over here in Mexico, and they will tell you that definition. Whatever economist over here in Mexico. And also, ultimately, you're talking about a carceral crisis. Sorry about my accent to all these MSNBCs, these, leftist journalists. I'm sorry about my accent. I'm really sorry. So it's a carceral crisis, prison crisis. Wow. Holy cow. A prison crisis that it was the worst prison crisis it was in the Obama administration that deported more Mexicans and Latinos in the history of the United States. And he had a great relationship with private prisons like MCCs, GEOs, CCAs. So let's look how she defines these big words, people. She's calling what is happening in Mexico our cartel crisis that were happening in Mexico. It is because of imperialism, right? What is happening in Mexico with the organized crimes and the cartels, it is because of imperialism, it is because of the climate, and it is because of the trade, and it is because of the prison system. What is going on with the CGNG, with the Sinaloa cartel, with cartels that they rule our country and the system corrupt of our government has to do with the imperialism, has to do with climate, has to do with trade, and has to do with carceral crisis. She's saying that because if you're talking about the border crisis, it means two countries, not your country, AOC. It means two countries, border, a limit. So a limit with what other country? Mexico. So you're blaming the situation with the cartel and the organized crime on imperialism, climate crisis, trade crisis, and carceral crisis, right? Second, you're blaming the enormous child trafficking that is occurring on imperialism, on climate crisis, on trade crisis, and on carceral crisis. And this has to do with your ideology and the liberal mentality that I have heard thousands of them saying is because the United States has their military stations in Honduras and they have been extracting minerals from Central America. So that has provoked for these people to go, to be a necessity of jobs. The United States has influenced so much their economy that it has destroyed their economy on extracting minerals. What happened to Honduras right now? I want to ask you one question, AOC. Honduras has lowered down their crime rate on 58% since the caravan started. Does it have to do with an imperialism crisis? A climate? A trade? A carceral crisis? It is just amazing what how these people hate so much your country. These Ilhan Omars, these Rashidas, these AOCs, how they hate so much the United States of America. And how they want to turn it into a communist country. Really, a communist country. So what happened to Venezuela, that it was one of the most richest countries, not only in the continent of America, but around the world. It has to do with imperialism, with the sanctions that the United States put on Venezuela, with the climate, with the trade, and with the carceral crisis. So you're telling me that what happened to Venezuela also, because Venezuelans are exiling to our country of Mexico, and from here also ultimately, if you tell this to a Venezuela citizen, he will laugh at your face. Really, he will completely it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with communism. Straight totalitarianism of communism. They will laugh at your face like you don't even imagine. But okay, let's go with you. So the economy has dropped. This is before Trump, AOC. how, you know, Chavez owes money to Wall Street, ex-dictator of Venezuela, and how Nicolás Maduro wants to strictly, implicitly, you know, be a dictator of socialism in his country. So the catastrophe that is going on in Venezuela has to do with imperialism of the United States, climate crisis of the United States provoked, or globally. Trade, that you're blaming trade right now on countries. Do you know where Venezuela is getting their trades, AOC? They just signed an agreement. Just for you to know, because you are for the globalist agenda, right? Just for you to know, and let me look for it right here. It was right here. And I am looking for it as of right now, and I have it right here on hand. Russia has strongly on this Tuesday backed up Venezuelan dictator Nicolás Maduro with the signature of 12 agreements of cooperation in resources as food resources, financial resources, energy resources, military, science, technology, and also the minery. Russia. Also, they renovated their compromise to support the Venezuelan country. They're talking about Russia on their sector of health for them to get vaccines. Russia, with China, has been an unconditional ally of the Venezuelan government. So you're blaming the trade crisis. You see, you got to study these people. They just open their mouth stupidly, man. You have to study. If you're blaming the trade, you're talking about all the people that they're fleeing to the border. It's not just Central America, you peanut poor brain. It is all the world that is coming through our borders of Mexico. And a lot of people from Venezuela have been, the country of Venezuela has been in agreement with trade market with China and with Russia. So you're blaming trade right now. And you're blaming because the sanctions came later. I'll tell you that. The sanctions came later in the Trump administration. You're blaming all the catastrophe that is going on these Central American countries and South American countries on imperialism, on climate crisis, on trade crisis, and on carceral crisis. It is, wow. It is amazing how they deviate the border crisis. Border crisis. Let me just pick up a dictionary, for God's sake. Holy cow. Imperialism. State policy practice by Britannica. Right here. Oh my God. Basics. Imperialism. State policy practice or advocacy of extending power and dominion. That is what supposedly the United States is doing, according to AOC. Especially by direct territorial acquisition or by gaining political and economic control of another areas, because it always involves the use of power, whether military or economic or some subtler form. Imperialism has often been considered morally reprehensible, and the term is frequently employed in international propaganda to denounce and discredit an opponent's foreign policy. So she's basically she is basically saying that the United States is this. She's describing the country that she represents as this. What a disgrace, because it does not even matter. I will tell you something. If you see a congressman talking about and blaming Mexico in Mexico about their own problems, talking bad about his country, they will remove him immediately. So she's saying that the United States is this to the world. The hell with China right now, extracting lithium from all across the world. having problems with Australia, having problems with Indonesia, having problems with Taiwan, going to Bolivia and implementing their fabrics and their companies to extract lithium. The hell with, China, how they have inflated the market, not only in the United States and Mexico, but worldwide. That is not dominion. That is not imperialism. Imperialism is what the United States is doing. So that is a word that she uses, imperialism. What is the other word that she uses? Climate change. Remember, this is a thing that it's coming. So they have to throw that word in there because you got the Paris deal, the globalist compact of the environment that is coming. All the ideas from communist China that they're coming to their country, that changing the automobile industry, decreasing the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, trying to eliminate hydrocarbons, that it means that all cars are going to be electrical now. So it has to throw in the climate change. In climate change, the definition right here, it is real simple. It says that the border crisis and everything that is happening, I just read you imperialism, and she just throws climate change and says threatens people with food, insecurity, water scarcity, flooding, infectious diseases, extreme heat, economic losses, and displacement. These impacts have led the World Health Organization to call a climate change the greatest threat to global health in the 21st century. So that it is also blame all of it on the United States of America. Also, practically, they're blaming our country. Also, ultimately, she's blaming our country because Mexicans are also calling it a crisis. You have seen that I have done interviews in Tijuana and people have called it a crisis, a border crisis. No, she's saying because of climate change. And it all derivates to the exile and the exodus of people. All right? So she uses a climate change. What other word she uses? She uses trade war. She uses this. And also, it's the trades. It's a trade war happens when one country retaliates against another by raising imports of tariffs or placing other restrictions on other countries on imports. Trade wars can commence if one's country perceives that a competitor nation has unfair trading practices. Domestic trade unions or industry lobbyists can pressure politicians to make imported goods less attractive to consumers, pushing international policy towards a trade war. Also, trade wars are often a result of misunderstanding of the widespread benefits of free trade. So let me get this straight. The enormous trafficking of cocaine that Nicolás Maduro is doing with the FARC, the organization that controls practically the world of distributing cocaine of Colombia, that it was before the cartel of Medellin, has nothing to do with this. It has to do, forget about Nicolás Maduro trafficking metric tons of cocaine to Nicaragua, Ecuador, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Bolivia, Paraguay, Uruguay, Nicaragua, Cuba, Europe. All of it has nothing to do. It's a trade war. This has nothing to do. The cartel organizations that they are taking over the government in our country of Mexico has to do with trade, according to AOC. Right? All of it. It is all together. And another one that she uses, it is the addressing the global prison crisis. And under all the way, and I use this because it's from the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crimes. And it says imprisonment has become a long automatic response rather than a last resort. Furthermore, the penitentiary system in most countries is no longer aimed at the reformation and social rehabilitation of convicts, but simply aims to punish by locking offenders away. So hold on a minute. People that they have reformed their lives in the system and they have come out, that is not a solution, because you made a crime, you paid the crime, you do the time. That is not the solution. The solution is to reform individuals by not sending them and not punishing them for their crimes. So, this is the response from a congresswoman from the United States of America. Holy cow. Oh my God. Tapa la jodida esta mujer. Whew. So, what is happening in the border? You just described, basically, you're hitting yourself in the toe, on the foot. Because you just described what is happening at the border. You just described what is actually happening at the border. Imperialism, the cartels, are taking over the market of human trafficking and human smuggling over a crisis of people in necessity. It's an imperialistic way to take over a trade that is a trade of humans, the number one market right now that is existing between borders. Isn't it kind of like assimilates the same? And you're putting migrants to different climate changes with this globalist compact of immigration. So you're hitting yourself in the foot because you're telling me that you're exposing this enormous exodus of migrants due to climate crisis, the ones that the globalists are putting migrants go through. Migrants don't just get up and say, you know what, when is your flight, Juan? I don't know, Maria, at 9 o'clock tomorrow. We're leaving from where? From Honduras to Mexico. From there, they're going to fly us all the way to Texas. No, ma'am. What they do is unfortunately, they wake up every day and walk through different climates, different territories, different exposures to sicknesses, to diseases, to troubles, to dangers. So that has to do with climate. In trade, I just explained to you. In carceral crisis, you guys are the ones that are keeping kids right now in cages. What the hell is going? So she just described with all these, 1, imperialism, 2, climate crisis, trade, and carceral crisis. She just described basically what is going on at the border. That practically she's saying that everything that is happening at the border, it is provoked by how liberals think that is the American imperialism. Oscar, you're not mad because the United States took over Mexico land. Go over there and read history about the trade of Santana. Please read history. Don't let liberals take over your brain, paisanos, hispanos. No dejen que los liberales le laven el coco. Go over there and read, please. Read. Because they're trying to play that card. Wow. How's everybody doing? Wow, man. Hijo de la jodida. And you know what is the most amazing thing about this? Is that these people, they use these words as it is just drinking a soda. They don't realize the level of responsibility that they have. They don't realize the level of charge that they have. They don't realize the enormous responsibility that their words affect the youth, and how their speeches and every statement that they use, how it affects countries. They don't analyze that. They just open their mouth. And believe me, she opened her mouth like this because it's too much that is backfiring her right now with the unaccompanied minors. A really delicate topic. Really delicate topic. Because she went to El Paso. She took a picture crying out, oh my God, coming out. It was all like stage. But now I don't see a picture. Now I don't see the crying. Now I don't see the tears. Now I don't see the complaints about the Trump administration. I don't see it. Because you know why? You know why you're not going to see it? Because it's the fault of imperialism. It's the fault of climate crisis. It's the fault of trade crisis. It's the fault of carceral crisis. So if you're trying to blame the border crisis, it's imperialism, Oscar. Man, you know what is happening with imperialism is because of climate, Oscar. Wow, man. Hey, you know what? This climate, man, it's just affecting, it's contaminating too much. It's because of trade. Trade, the trade market is just, they're trying to take over, it's imperialistic, it's just complete dominion, it's dictatorship, Oscar. And there's a lot of violence, and we need to change the prison system. It is just too bad. Everything goes together. These people think like, oh, you got a Machiavellical plan, man. Everything goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everything. They have it all figured out. This is how you're going to repeat every day, Oscar. Okay, imperialism crisis. Climate crisis, trade crisis, carceral crisis, imperialism crisis, climate crisis, trade crisis, carceral crisis. It's not a border crisis. It is an imperialism crisis, a climate crisis, a trade crisis, a carceral crisis. Holy cow. Wow. Oh. All right. Well, I don't really have nothing else to say about this. I want to do this video in Spanish, and I will do it right now as soon as I... Holy cow, man. Hijo de la jodida. And these people don't even live over here. And you know how they justify themselves? I live over there. Oh, yeah, where do you live? I live over there in the neighborhood. I've been living there for 4 years. I lived there for 4 years. I'm living there for 6 years already. Oh, yeah, it's really nice. And you live out of the peso, or you live out of the capitalist dollar. That doesn't even matter. I live there. Yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing how they are so prepotent and arrogant with their responses. You cannot win an argument. That's why I don't discuss with them, man. I don't discuss with them, because their arguments is whatever you say is like, yeah. Inadmissible. Yeah. No. I strongly believe. Yeah. But you're like, oh my God, no. And you're just hearing like blah, 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 blah. Oh my God. What I do is just listen and like, you're finished? No, I'm not finished. I am going to destroy. Go ahead. Swim away. It is all you. It's because you don't understand. You're so uneducated. And here you are, arguing with me and giving me the time. Yes, you don't deserve nothing. This right here. This is the example of the new generation. Talking about my generation. This right here. Holy cow, people. How's everybody doing? Good evening to everybody. I will do a show later on tonight. What time is it, man? 4:30. It's 7 o'clock at the East Coast time. God bless you all. Follow my partner, Real Anthony Agüero. You can follow him at YouTube, Parler, Orbeez, Facebook, and his channel and Telegram. And also you can follow Ben Berquam and also Will Johnson at the same platforms. You can follow me at Facebook as Oscar L. Blue. And also you can follow me at YouTube. Subscribe to my channel and Instagram. And also you can follow me at my channel at Telegram. It has been a pleasure talking to you guys. Stay safe. Oh my God, these arguments are fantastic, really. Y no son ni políticos de México, pero nomás escucharlos me da tanta risa. And they're not even politicians from Mexico, but just listening to them, it just gives me the cracks, man. I'm like, oh, wow. So what is happening right now at the water rafts has to do with right now it's going to rain, and it's just a contamination that affects the multicultural, the agricultural, because people don't have resources, they don't have jobs, so they flee. So it has to do with weather. All right. Pray to, like the Aztecs used to do, pray to the sun for rain. Hijo de la chinga. Oh, no. Holy cow. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, peace and love, because always your country's first. God bless.
Lo que necesitamos. Y ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and he hasn't said anything. Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the best. Sacrifice for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! Porque la Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.